Despite the snow, I'll still be drinking pumpkin spice lattes until they stop the pumpkin spice lattes and bring on the red cups. Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I am going to be doing a tag I have been wanting to do for a very long time. Actually, since I started this channel, I've had this tag high on my radar to do, and I don't know why it took me so long to do it because it fits so perfectly with my channel. It is the coffee book tag, and so I don't know why I waited so long to do this, but I've actually been tagged now to do this tag, so it's a good motivation to actually do the tag. I was tagged by Melanie over at Christian YA Books and More to do the coffee book tag. I will leave the link to the original video and channel down below. You guys can go check that out. I'll also leave the link to Melanie's channel down below. You guys should go and subscribe to Melanie's channel as well. So without further ado, here is the coffee book tag. Question number 1 is black coffee. Name a book series that is hard to get into but has a hardcore following. Answers for this one. The first one being the Lord of the Rings trilogy, or really anything by J.R.R. Tolkien aside from The Hobbit, I find are sometimes really hard to get into the reading wise. Now the movie franchise is separate from all of this, but the books can sometimes be difficult to get into. Once they're into though, they are just great reads and just full of such amazing writings. But sometimes they can get really difficult to just kind of really immerse yourself in them. And you really need the time to dedicate to them. And sometimes I just don't have the time to dedicate to them. I'm still haven't finished The Return of the King just because I haven't found the time to sit down and invest in it. But all of the writings, even aside from the movie fans, the writings themselves have always had a hardcore following and had a really strong following. And that is just the test of great writing and a great series. The next series is maybe the Throne of Glass series. That series is everywhere on BookTube right now, being that the latest book has just come out. And it's got a really strong following, but it's also got hit and miss for a lot of people. Some people really like it. People haven't. I've been throwing back and forth whether or not I'll pick it up and check it out because I do like fantasy, but I hear it kind of started off YA and appropriate and has kind of moved into new adult with higher content in it. So I think I might just avoid that series altogether. But again, I've heard some people who've tried it and haven't liked it, and then there's everybody who loves it. So again, hardcore following, some people find it difficult to get into. Number 2 is the Peppermint Mocha, which is my holiday drink of choice. As soon as the red cups hit Starbucks, I drink nothing but peppermint mochas until the red cups disappear. And for this is to choose a book that gets more popular during the winter or holiday season. I actually have 2 for this one again. I have The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis, or really the Chronicles of Narnia. Mainly The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe because you have that always winter, never Christmas kind of feel to it. And then you also have Visit from Father Christmas in there. So this one I would pick for getting more popular around Christmas time. And another entire series that gets popular for everybody during the holidays or wintertime, I find, is the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling. This is the last book. I have yet to finish my first time reading these through, but Christmas is mentioned in almost every single book. I say almost every single because I actually haven't read the last one yet. So it's mentioned at least once in every book. Hagrid getting the tree, the decoration of the Great Hall. It just has really festive, warm feelings to it. The Yuletide Ball. And there's just so many great, warm, fuzzy feelings that come from reading the Harry Potter series, especially the nostalgic for a lot of people who grew up with this. So nostalgia really wins over in the holiday season, I find. So these 2 books are just, I think, I would pick for the holiday season. Number 3 is Hot Chocolate. Name your favorite children's book. I actually learned to read using Dr. Seuss books. I had a babysitter who was addicted to Dr. Seuss, and she had almost all of them. And I learned to read using Dr. Seuss. The first book I read kind of by myself was Green Eggs and Ham. And then another one of my all-time favorites was Marvin K. Mooney, Will You Please Go Now? And I think, of course, All the Places You Will Go and The Grinch That Stole Christmas. I love that movie as a child, and then I loved finding out that it was a book and reading the book. So definitely The Grinch That Stole Christmas is probably my most favorite and the most iconic Dr. Seuss story. Question number 4 is double shot of espresso. Name a book that kept you on the edge of your seat the entire time. And I chose The Choosing by Rochelle Decker. I read this as an ebook from Hoopla, and I just picked it up because I had maybe heard a little bit about it. I don't even know. It just looked interesting. So I picked it up and I read it in one night. And I rarely read a book in one night, and this isn't even a small book to read in one night. But I read the entire thing in one night just because I had to find out what happened, and it was such a really well-written story, and it became my favorite book of 2015. Absolutely loved it. But The Choosing and The Calling, both the sequel, have a really good action and just intrigue to them. So even when it does slow down, you're still so intrigued that you got to find out what happens. Number 5 is Starbucks. Name a book that you see everywhere. And lately, for me personally, I am seeing Unblemished by Sarah Ella everywhere. Now, granted, I am connected with a lot of the people who are supporting Sarah Ella's new book, who are friends with Sarah Ella. I met Sarah Ella on BookTube and kind of connected with that group of people, but I just love seeing how Twitter has kind of lit up with the release of Unblemished. This is still my advanced reader copy. I have yet to get my finished copy, even though it's out yet. I know I want it so bad, but you know, work and adulting and money. So Unblemished by Sarah Ella, I just love the fact that this is just lighting up my Twitter feed and my YouTube feed for reviews and such. So very excited for this debut of Sarah Ella's. So I'm seeing this everywhere, and that is a good thing. Number 6 is That Hipster Coffee Shop. Give an indie author a shout out. I only know one indie author of an indie author. A lot of my books are just from major publishers. So the only indie author I know that I'm going to shout out is Melanie from her Christian YA Books and More. Melanie's first book, her Reality, Darkness into Light, was indie published, I believe. Self-published? Indie published? See, I don't even know that much about indie publishing world. But her first book, Reality, Darkness into Light, was an indie published book. Now, I think she released the cover of her next book, so you guys should go check out her Twitter and her channel and find out more information about that. I have yet to read her book, but I'm very interested in doing so. Number 6 is Oops, I Accidentally Ordered Decaf. Now, for me, this would be the opposite. I purposefully ordered decaf because I can't handle caffeinated. So decaf is my drink. Anyway, so name a book that you were expecting more from. And I actually chose The Siren from Kira Cass. I had a lot of people told me I would really like it and I would really enjoy it. I picked it up because it was sort of a Little Mermaid retelling, and I'm looking for a great Little Mermaid retelling. I have yet to find one I have really enjoyed. So I picked this one up hoping I would, and I was just really disappointed with a lot of things in it. I found actually a lot of the relationships in this book were the most disappointing part. The writing was really good. The characters were somewhat enjoyable, but it was the relationships of the characters that just fell so hard for me. The creator parental family relationship between the main character and the sea or the ocean was extremely toxic. And I was kind of thinking that it was going to be a different type of creator-creation relationship, and it was actually just really toxic and not good of a relationship, just really manipulative. And then the family sisters relationship between all the female main characters was also kind of toxic, yet at the same time it was good. I did enjoy that aspect of it, but even then it wasn't the greatest relationships. The one relationship I really enjoyed was actually the romantic relationship between the main character and the love interest, and it was just weird that that was the one I liked the most. So the relationships in this book just kind of fell flat and was kind of disappointing for me. Number 8 is The Perfect Blend. Name a book that was both bitter and sweet, but ultimately satisfying. For this, I chose Revolutionary by Krista McGee. This is the 3rd book in the Anomaly trilogy, and that trilogy was just mind-blowing as it was, but this 3rd book was just so bittersweet, and just so much happened in this book that broke my heart but then made me happy. But I was completely satisfied with the ending as well. I was satisfied with the ending. There was one thing that I would have picked differently, but ultimately I was satisfied with this, even though it was just really bittersweet in the end. And that's it for the tag. So I'm going to tag, I think, Bree from Bree's Books has not done this tag yet, and Gina from Randomly Bookish Gina, I don't think you've done it yet. So if you guys feel like doing this tag, I tag you to do the tag. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!